Music is the all-encompassing. Oh, let me get that. Oh, what are you doing here? I'm making a video. This is for my English final. Okay, I'll give it back. Just give me 15 minutes. I just have to get this done. All right? All right, bye. Music is the all-encompassing medium that dates to before human creation and will hopefully continue to inspire whatever sentient beings come after us. That begs the question, where did the inspiration come from, and why do people think music is getting worse? Inspiration can come from many different avenues, and you see this in artists like Earl Sweatshirt, Tyler the Creator, A$AP Rocky, and Young Thug, just to name a few. The similarities in inspiration between these four is in how diverse it is. Earl Sweatshirt and Tyler the Creator both have heavy inspirations from late rapper MF Doom. A$AP Rocky's idol and mentor is Mos Def, a prolific rapper of the 90s and 2000s as well. And Young Thug attributes Lil Wayne, Gucci Mane, and Kanye West as frontline inspirations in his craft. Now, if you're like me at the start of this project, you're wondering, if all these artists are inspired by these other amazing artists, why do people think that music is getting worse? Well, I have the answer, and the answer is racism. Well, not really. The answer is a lot more nuanced than that, but that is a main factor. You can see the notion of music getting worse increase with each growing generation. With rock and roll, parents that grew up on blues and jazz consider rock and roll to be worse than blues or jazz. With parents that grew up on bands like Led Zeppelin and Queen, they view rap as lesser than the music that they grew up listening to. The difference in how parents view rap as lesser than older generations is how prolific this feeling is throughout all generations. Many non-black people view rap as lesser than other genres because it doesn't have the same scheme as classical, blues, jazz, or rock music. In an article by Lee Charmaine Ann, a Canadian author, she writes about her own experience with rap music and how she viewed it as trash when she was younger. She saw classical music as high class and complex, while rap was just low class and uneducated. It was in her 20s that she gained an understanding for rap's background and came to love 90s rap. This is just one perspective, but this mindset is very common in people that don't understand rap music or its origins. It should be noted that music, as with all art forms, is subjective, and the likes and dislikes are completely up to the consumer. Disliking rap music doesn't make you a racist, but bashing those who create it simply because you don't like the subject matter will definitely make you look like one. It's important that you make the distinction between disliking rap or outright hating rap and everything that it stands for. The other side of music getting worse comes from the artists themselves. In an interview from 2013, Earl Sweatshirt touches up on this topic.
10 years I do not want to be rapping. The attention span of the listeners and of the artists is getting smaller and smaller. Like patterns and shit that's going on with the generation that's a little younger than mine.
If you know anything about Earl Sweatshirt, you know that he is still rapping to this very day. So what made him change his point of view? There's no one cut and dry answer, but I feel like we find the answer in his inspirations. In the same interview, Earl talked about one of his other inspirations, Gil Scott-Heron, a staunch civil rights activist and a musician whose music has shaped generations. Where Earl has taken inspiration from Scott-Heron in this sense is in his sense of justice. Earl is very vocal about his thoughts on the Israel and Palestine war and the discrimination that people of color continue to face in America today. Earl doesn't have the problem to the extreme he was expressing in the past because of his dedicated fan base. He is able to take his time with music, but the point still stands. The phenomenon that Earl is talking about has been present in music for as long as it's been around. The difference between those times and these times is with the accessibility of music, making people want more and more music faster and faster. Music streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, Music, and SoundCloud make music more accessible than ever. The only way for new artists or artists that don't have a set fan base to grow is to churn out more and more music that's shorter and shorter with less and less substance. I don't think music is getting worse. It's just not adhering to the status quo like it did in the past. With social media like TikTok and Instagram, artists are able to promote whatever music that they want to make and find a fan base. Had it not been for TikTok or Instagram, half of the music that I listen to today I wouldn't even know about, and a lot of people my age share this sentiment. Many rock genres such as Midwest emo, indie rock, and rap genres such as trap or crank would have been lost to me. I think the problem isn't that music is getting worse, is that the mainstream music is just becoming too bland. Many mainstream artists like Drake and Taylor Swift have a much more bland and generalized approach to music in comparison to these other less popular music groups. Although having a generalized approach to music isn't a bad thing, niche music groups that would appeal to more people are cast to the wayside because of it. This makes the notion that music now is worse than other generations completely up to opinion and subjective. Many people with this sentiment, I bet, haven't listened to many music outside of the mainstream. Now, to the listener, if you think that music is getting worse, take a dive outside of the mainstream. You might just find something that you like.